There are only a few days left to join the Business Edit Group coaching program before prices increase on January 1st. If you're a service provider who's feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and underpaid, don't let another year go by staying stuck. If you want this to be the year that you finally build the business of your dreams, one that lights you up, doubles your revenue, and allows you to work part-time hours, now is the time to join. In this program, you'll follow my signature 5-step method for building a productive and profitable business. You'll get business minimalist strategy, marketing systems, and productivity roadmaps that are simple to understand and easy to implement, plus 12 months of weekly coaching to help you overcome any road bump that comes up along the way. Let this be the year that you finally hit your revenue goals and create a life first business. Join me inside the Business Edit at www.jadeboyd.co/coaching and get my step-by-step blueprint with everything you need to build your dream business in 2024. Again, the early sign-up pricing ends on December 31st, and the program will officially kick off on January 2nd. So don't wait. If this sounds appealing to you, but you're not sure if it's the right fit, feel free to DM me on Instagram and we can chat. My only goal here is to help you make the right decision for you and your business. And you can find me on Instagram at jadeboyd.co. Now back to the show. There's this researcher, professor from Washington University School of Medicine, and he did some research that showed that while the brain is just 2% of a person's total body weight, it actually accounts for 20% of the energy that we use. So during the course of a day, his research showed that on a typical day, a person uses about 320 calories just to think. And so in today's episode, I want to talk about a solution to this problem and this specific flavor of overwhelm that will help you in every area of your life and business when it comes to making decisions in a way that is less stressful and consumes less headspace. Welcome to the Business Minimalist Podcast, a podcast about redefining productivity for the modern woman in business and finding ways to work smarter, not harder, in business and life. I'm your host, Jade Boyd. I'm an MBA, business strategist, and mentor who helps overwhelmed business owners simplify and scale their service-based businesses with strategy and systems. On this podcast, we'll explore simple ways to earn more while working less. If you're ready to scale your business, bring order to chaos, ditch the busy work, and make space for what really matters, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Business Minimalist Podcast. How many decisions do you think you make in any given day? From the time that you wake up to the time that you go to sleep, just get a number in your head and keep it there. Are you ready? Research shows that on average, we make 35,000 decisions in a day. I don't know if that blows your mind as much as it blows mine, but it's way more than I imagined. And I knew that I made a lot of decisions because decision fatigue is real. By the end of the day, I definitely feel it. I'm sure you do too, especially as business owners who I would guess probably make an above average number of decisions every day. Making decisions can be really exhausting, especially by 5 p.m. I don't want to make any more decisions. And as I was prepping for this episode, I was just thinking about this more in depth and just realized that nobody is really making decisions for me. I know it's a privilege to be able to make all of your own decisions, but when I was working a full-time job, there were many decisions that were made for me, but now I have to decide everything and decide it over and over again, right? With not a lot of input from other people. And that can be a heavy mental burden and it can lead to a lot of overwhelm. Your brain burns calories. I don't know if you knew that, but your brain is also a physical being and it burns calories by thinking, a lot of them. And there's this researcher, professor from Washington University School of Medicine. His name's Dr. Rakel, and he did some research that showed that while the brain is just 2% of a person's total body weight, it actually accounts for 20% of the energy that we use. And so there's a disproportionate amount of our energy going towards thinking, and making decisions is obviously a big part of that if we're making 35,000 decisions a day. So during the course of a day, his research also showed that on a typical day, a person uses about 320 calories just to think. And so when we're thinking about this as overwhelmed, decision-fatigued entrepreneurs, in today's episode, I want to talk about a solution to this problem and this specific flavor of overwhelm that will help you in every area of your life and business when it comes to making decisions in a way that is less stressful and consumes less headspace. And the solution is categorical decision making. To put this in simple terms, categorical decision making is the art of making one decision that eliminates dozens of other future decisions. And it's a strategy that helps you make less decisions overall, burn less mental calories, free up time and energy for the stuff that matters more than deciding what to eat or what to wear over and over again. Those small decisions can add up to a lot of calories burned and a lot of mental headspace consumed. So, in this episode, I want to talk about how to use categorical decision making to free up that headspace and stop making as many decisions as somebody who does have a lot of decisions that you have to make. So, without further ado, let's dive in. So, to put a little bit more meat on this idea of like what actually is categorical decision making, here's another way to describe it. Categorical decision making is when you have different choices and you put them into specific categories, separate categories, and you pick one option from those different categories that are already defined and they do not overlap with one another. So instead of considering every individual choice that you could make, you're choosing one category of choices and eliminating a lot of different options, if that makes sense. So you're looking at the groups that those decisions belong to and deciding which category suits you best. So to make this a little bit more clear, I want to give you a few examples, starting with your personal life, and then we'll move into how this applies to business. And I'm hoping that after this episode, you'll begin to see opportunities to make categorical decisions that make your life easier daily, like in every aspect. There's 35,000 opportunities for you to notice this every single day. And I promise you, once you're aware of the ability to make this type of decision, you will start seeing it everywhere. And once you start seeing the benefits of making categorical decisions, you will not want to stop. It's addicting. I swear it is. And so let's start in your personal life and giving examples of categorical decisions that you could do to make every day of your life easier. So, one categorical decision you could make is in the realm of what you decide to eat. And there's so many different ways that you could make categorical decisions about what to eat. One way is deciding if you are a vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian. That is one category of eating that immediately eliminates dozens of future decisions, probably dozens of decisions every single day when it comes to what you're buying, what meals you're making, what you're eating for a snack, where you're choosing to go out to eat. All of those decisions are simpler if you decide that you're a vegan or vegetarian. Your options for those decisions automatically get smaller. And you might think that that makes it harder to make decisions, but I think we all have experienced the problem of like, I don't know what I want for dinner, or I don't know where I want to go out to eat. This is a common one where I just keep changing my mind. I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan, so I can eat wherever I want to. I don't have any specific requirements when it comes to categories of food. And so it is more overwhelming to decide from this huge list of options rather than if I had 3 or 4 options. It would be a lot easier to make that decision if I wanted to go out to eat. Another way you could do this is narrowing down groceries based on the types of recipes you want to create. So I'm going to do a future episode about this, but I started putting together this minimalist meal planning binder for myself where I chose some categorical decisions about the meals that I wanted to go in this binder. I wanted them to be healthy recipes that I felt good about eating. I wanted them to be meals that I could make and eat in 30 minutes or less. And I wanted them to be meals that didn't require like 30 ingredients, like 10 ingredients or less, simple meals that don't require a bunch of like chopping and a bunch of expensive, hard to find groceries at a specialty grocery store. And so I've started putting together this binder and I went through like my list of recipes and just pulled out all the recipes that met these requirements and put them in this binder. And so now when I go to meal plan, it's a lot easier when I'm feeling overwhelmed or I don't have a lot of mental energy to give to meal planning to choose all of these pre-selected meals that are already in the binder. That's one way that you could simplify meal planning with categorical decision making. I have a very select set of meals that I'm choosing from on a weekly basis. And of course, do I have room to like add in an extra recipe on those weeks where I'm feeling super adventurous and I have extra time or I notice something on Pinterest I want to make? Of course. But overall, having that subset of meals to choose from has simplified the overwhelm of meal planning and has made it a lot easier to make those decisions overall. Other ways this could apply to meal planning. If you're choosing to buy organic or non-organic, that could simplify decisions and reduce the amount of options you have to choose from. If you choose to shop at a certain grocery store, that could simplify the options that you have available to you, or even eliminate the decision of where do I want to shop for groceries this week? Am I going to do Instacart? Am I going to do delivery? Am I going to do the drive up? Like, choosing once how you get groceries and sticking to that eliminates all of those future times where you might redecide that. So as you can see, even within one category, there are many different categorical decisions that you can make to simplify that area. One other thing I want to talk about when it comes to the personal side of categorical decision making is what you wear. So I recently did a House of Color consultation with Kylie Epperson, who is amazing. I will link to her in the show notes as well. But this color consultation, I know I'm behind on the trend and people have been doing this for a while, but it kind of blew my mind. It was much more than I expected it to be, and I learned so much more, and it's affected my life and made my life so much easier in ways that I did not expect it to when I was booking it. Like, I knew it'd be a fun experience and I knew it'd be interesting, but basically the House of Color consultation, if you've never heard of House of Color, there's 4 different categories: spring, winter, fall, and summer. And there's different colors that are in each of those categories. So distinct categories, and you find out which colors work best with your natural colors, your natural skin tone, hair colors, all the things. And so when you leave the session, you get designated as one of those seasons, and you have a list of colors that are like your best colors to wear that bring up your best features, highlight your skin tones, and just look good on you. And so naturally, that's a categorical decision, because now I have a set of colors when I'm shopping. If it's not in that color, it's an easy no for me. And so it has simplified shopping for sure, but also picking out clothes in my closet to wear, or thinking about outfits that I can put together. Having an understanding of those colors and knowing what my colors are and aren't is a great way to narrow down and make that decision easier. Another filter I have for clothes, if you listen to my laundry episode a while back, I mentioned it there, but I do not buy clothes that say dry clean only. I always check the tags, or online check the care instructions. And if it says dry clean only, I don't buy it. Categorical decision made. Buying from sustainable brands, you might have a select few brands that you buy from, and deciding once, like, these are the 5 brands that I know, like, trust. The quality is great, and I'm not going to search online for hours looking at all these different companies, and I'm just going to choose these 5 brands and buy from them only. Will definitely simplify your shopping experience and prevent you from wasting a lot of time online. And then the far extreme of this in terms of what you wear is the capsule wardrobe, of course, like narrowing down your choices to 10 to 30 items that truly are the only options you have to choose from. It makes decision making a lot easier, and you're also making a lot less decisions. If you think of somebody like Steve Jobs, who wore basically the same thing every day, the same shirt, just owned multiple of that same shirt and wore it every single day, like, that's a uniform, and that eliminates that decision altogether. You're not even choosing from 10 different outfits you could wear. You're just putting something on without thinking about it. And that's the idea here, is that you're freeing up time. You're not burning those calories in areas that you don't want to burn those calories in. Simple things like what to eat or what to wear. Sometimes that's important based on the industry you're in or what your business is. And certain days of the week or certain events, it might be more important than others. But overall, I would guess that things like that are not the most important decision for you to be focusing your time and energy on. And the more time and energy you can free up from those simple things to spend on the high return activities in your business and the bigger impact decisions that you have to make, the better. And so that's a sneak peek of what it could look like in your personal life. And let's also talk about what this could look like in your business. There are 2 big top-down strategies that I want to mention in terms of using categorical decision-making to make your life easier as a business owner. The first one is deciding what your why is and finding your why. And one of the very first episodes we did on the podcast, I had Mariah Danielson come in and talk about finding your why. And after we recorded that episode, I did a Find Your Why session with Mariah, and it has been a game changer. Finding your why not only involves coming up with that why statement and like figuring out and processing through why you do what you do, and having that motivating like statement that helps you put words to the feelings that you already feel, the push and the motivation that you already experience on your hardest days. Having a statement that effectively communicates that not only to others, but to yourself is extremely powerful. But on top of that, she helped me go through a list of filters. And so we generated this list of 6 or 7 filter statements for me that are literally filters that help me make decisions in terms of things that I should do that are aligned with my why and things that I should not do that are not aligned with my why. And so this is a huge categorical decision that I made. It's not really a decision that I made, but more so a process that I went through to help me put words to the decisions that I knew that I wanted to make. But I feel like when you don't have words to communicate what your filters are, if they're just a vague idea of what you do and don't want to do, and you don't put any concrete boundaries around those things, every time a decision comes up, you're going to be putting the time and energy into thinking about what your filters should be. And so instead of deciding every time you have a new decision come up what your filters should be, decide once and use those filters as you move on. Not to say that there's not room for those filters to evolve or for your why to evolve a little bit in terms of how you word it or how that shows up in your business as seasons change, as your life changes, as your business grows. But overall, deciding once and having that solid communication strategy, not only for others, but for yourself to go back to time and time again to help you make decisions faster and help you make better decisions faster, really so helpful in terms of saving time and mental energy. The second thing I want to talk about is your definition of success. And we've talked about this before on the podcast, but this is, again, a decision that you're going to find yourself making every single day unless you take the time to decide once what your definition of success is going to be. And it might change season to season. So again, there's also room for this to evolve. But even deciding for summer, I was just talking to a group of women in entrepreneurship this morning. And for many people around the table, what they were struggling most with is staying productive during the summer because summer is just a different type of season. And you can battle with yourself every day and every week, or battle with your kids, your family, your employees on how to be more productive or how to keep up levels of productivity that are unrealistic for that season. Or you can take the time to decide at the beginning of that season what your definition of success is going to look like and how that's going to play out. Decide once instead of battling yourself and trying to redecide that every day and reconvince yourself that the definition of success should look like it did last season. It's not always the case, and every business has a little bit of seasonality to it. Another thing that influences your definition of success is what you see other people succeeding at. And so to take the time to think through how you are going to benchmark and measure what success looks like in your business is powerful, because if you don't, that benchmark is going to continue changing as you see other people achieve higher and bigger and better goals. You can easily be tricked. Your mind can easily be tricked, and you can trick yourself into thinking that you are not successful, even though you're meeting all of your standards for success in a way that, in a great mind state with clear thinking, you might define success and then meet it and see someone else who's meeting a different definition of success and assume that that should be your definition of success too, and that you need to strive harder in order to determine that you're successful. And again, that's something that is never going to stop getting in your way, because unless you don't interact with other human beings at all, that's something that's just natural for us to consider as people looking at what other business owners are doing. So decide once what your definition of success is and use that as a filter to make better, more aligned decisions when it comes to growing your business. And the third one, I know that you knew this one was coming, but goals. Decide what your goal should be for each year, for sure, but also breaking them down to quarterly goals can also be extremely powerful in terms of helping you make better decisions. Because if you're a creative, I know that you get lots of great ideas, and not even like they're great in the moment. I'm sure that on any given week, you have dozens of creative ideas that could turn into really great services, really great offers, really great lead generators, really great list builders, all of the things. But if you have no filters for determining which projects you should be investing your time and energy in now, this quarter, this month, this week, today, then you're going to be deciding that hour by hour, minute by minute, and you will be making so many more decisions daily than if you were to take the time even once a quarter to decide what your focus is for that season, that quarter, and let that filter the projects and tasks that you allow onto your to-do list and the way that you spend your time each week, and intentionally setting aside time to work on those goals. Being clear about how much time it takes and what your plan is for achieving something on a quarter by quarter basis will absolutely change the way that you are running your business and living your life. You will save so much time if you allow yourself to decide once. And again, if you commit to something for 90 days, it's really hard to see success if you commit to something for a week, right? Success doesn't happen that quickly with many things in business and in life. But if you're able to commit to something and actually give it your full attention for 90 days, you might be really surprised by what you can accomplish in that amount of time. And you can always say at the end of the quarter, you know what? That's not the way that I want to do things next quarter, and change your focus and change the way that you're spending your time in the next quarter to focus on a different area or a different project. And that's totally fine too. But at least allow yourself the chance to decide that once and not try to decide that every single day. I talked about this in the episode I did about 5 mistakes people make when tackling their to-do lists. And one of them was switching between strategy and execution every time that you pick up a task. So having this laundry list of tasks and projects and then deciding like minute by minute, basically, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do next? And again, taking the mental energy to make that decision over and over and over again throughout your day is exhausting. But if you're able to plan that ahead of time and have a template for making those decisions, your entire life gets easier and you see success so much faster. So, shameless coaching plug here. Actually, this is something that I do with all of my coaching clients, and I'm opening my coaching program one more time this year. So applications are open right now. I'll link to the application in the show notes and to the landing page if you want to learn more about the coaching program. But if you're struggling to clarify your goals and break them down to a productive plan, a clear plan to actually reach them quarter by quarter or actually make significant progress on those goals quarter by quarter, go to the application, go to the landing page and submit that today. It's called the Business Edit Coaching Program and not the you can do everything that you want to in the next 90 days coaching program for a reason, because I do believe on choosing, on going big on a few things and doing those things to the best of your ability, making a commitment to be consistent on those things for 90 days. Like I said, you'll be so surprised by what you can accomplish when you change the way that you're making decisions in your business based on these filters, based on goals that you've set for yourself, on SMART goals that you've made for yourself that align to the bigger picture of your business. And so if that is something that you've been struggling with or something that could feel like a breath of fresh air for you in the second half of 2023, go to the link, apply today. We can do a discovery call, and I truly treat those like coaching calls, and I'm happy to give any advice or recommendations that I can in the course of those 30 minutes, even if this doesn't end up being the best coaching program for you. But I would love to meet you and learn more about what you're accomplishing and what you're trying to achieve this year to see how I can help and to see if the coaching program is going to be a good fit for you or not. And before we bring this to a close, I have 3 last tips for making categorical decisions in your business. And at this point, this is the second time I'm recording this episode because I recorded it this morning and my mic was off. Everything was plugged in, but the switch on my mic was off. I forgot to turn it on. And so I got through the whole